Special good morning to the listeners. Special good morning also to the viewers of GBN. Of course, for those of you via the various, social media platforms, let me say good morning to you and welcome. It's Thursday. It's the 23rd day of July, 2026. Good morning to those of you who are, of course, driving along our nation's roads. Good morning to you. Certainly happy to have you with us this morning. Welcome once again. You know, on Thursday, we host various departments within the RGPF. We should have a combination of departments this morning, CID and CRD.
Yes, correct.
Of course, welcome back, of course, Detective Coutinho with us this morning. How are you doing this morning, sir? Nice to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back as always.
For the month already, right?
Yeah.
All right. Our conversation this morning is definitely based on, violence prevention and conflict resolution. And it's timely for this particular conversation because, we into the carnival season. In a matter of weeks, we should be getting to the peak of it.
Yes.
And, sometimes what can happen with individual having that good time, if you could say it in a nice way. Yes. Having that good time, conflicts do, arrive. And there's always a way to resolve it in a peaceful and amicable way that leads to no one's having to lose their lives or getting injured in any way of the sort. So we're going to talk about that this morning, share, of course, our views on that, and hope that when we wrap this conversation up this morning, our listeners and viewers would have a different view or perspective in terms of conflict resolution.
Yes.
So that's our feature conversation this morning. We're expecting, of course, Corporal Redhead?
Yes, Corporal Redhead.
Corporal Redhead. You should be popping with us during the course of the morning. I want to start the conversation like this. No. Community engagement and trust is important.
That's
always. Community engagement and trust is important. How do officers build that rapport? With the local carnival bands and mass camps just before the festival starts. Do you folks have that conversation with them?
Well, I must say that from the commissioner's level and his executive team, there are many briefings and conversations that are held with Spice Mass, event planners, and so forth. Because it's very important in everything that we have that understanding and that we speak one voice, we sing one song.
Yeah.
Especially for this season, recognizing that Carnival is a celebration of culture, right? Unity and peace, right? And if we stray from that, it's because we lose the main objective, unity.
And that distraction that will come in between it loses that whole flavor.
Yes, because it's the purpose why we celebrate Carnival. Yes. And it's a time where persons may use it to overly consume themselves with certain substances,
yes.
Whether it be the alcohol or illegal substances, and they lose the focus, they use the opportunity to engage in conflicts, maybe over the years or throughout the year. Perhaps they had a little dispute and they may see you in a place and see the opportunity and forget the main focus for the Carnival. And this is why we're here now, to redirect and to guide and to try to embrace the whole conflict resolution from every aspect of the community, Spice Mass, events, even the vendors by the road who sells and so forth. Everybody had to buy into that concept of the purpose, celebrating culture, unity and love.
What particular strategy do you, as police officers, distinguish between high-energy celebration and genuine hostile conflict? If you get where I'm coming from with this.
What are you getting me here?
Well, I'm saying the strategy that you will use to distinguish that between, high-energy celebrations, they have in that high-energy celebration, but it's also genuine hostile conflict in between.
Well, you see the thing about it, every situation is dealt with on its own merit.
Yeah.
Right? The approach you may take in a large crowd setting certainly be different to that way you may see on the side of the road, and still within the celebration. Because obviously the strategies need to be tailored to suit each situation. Because you want not to go into a crowd with mass people and you will want to arrest someone for more just obscene language.
Yes.
That doesn't even warrant it. It's not a time and place for that.
All right.
So the approach, obviously, as I said, would be tailored to suit every situation.
I also want to get the various departments' feel on this. How does department, collaborate, especially with community elders, the local influencers in the escalating neighborhoods and tensions during particular events and so forth?
Right, because the community has a part to play. in all aspects. Holistically speaking, because you will want them also to understand, as I say, the purpose of what we do, and have conversation with the community members. Because there are people in the community who are very influential.
So true.
Right, and they may initiate certain activities within the carnival period, and they have respect. So it depends on what they project and how they have the events, and that will even go to especially for if you want to host an event too, you would want to make sure that you have that dialogue and have the relevant permission to conduct, because what we are seeing a lot of times is that person may apply for permission within the community, and then the venue itself is not conducive to host that event or to accommodate the number of people. They might have a small space, and this is where we see conflict a lot of times too, because once you understand that when you have a lot of people in a small space, they're easily aggravated, and the potential of them retaliating is more greater, whereas they may have a wider space. So we encourage that the community person, when they have the events and so forth, make sure that everything is accommodated properly. You have proper security, whether it be law enforcement or personal securities. You acquire the right permissions, because we have to come and vet it, make sure you have certain facilities intact, whether it be bathroom facilities and so forth, as prescribed by the permission once given to you.
All right.
And we have the issue of music also, because imagine having an event and then you have, let's say, the person on the mic who's inciting certain things. It may not necessarily be violence, but it may incite certain things that may cause an uproar.
Could encourage someone to
that as well. So we all have a responsibility, what we do, what we say, and how we accommodate any event that we do.
I like the way you came across it, because sometimes I get the thing with when I say venue of purpose. When you have the venue, it should suit the purpose of what you want to have.
But of course.
And I say that, for instance, I see the road events that are taking place on the nation's roads, which I see sometimes incite violence.
Yes.
There are events that are taking place on roadsides where obstruction of traffic.
Yes.
And I have seen individuals may want to pass because it's deemed to be the public road.
Yes.
And whoever is having the event and the individual who are masquerading or whatever at the time are preventing that.
Yeah.
And you know what it can lead to.
But of course, we have seen that many times.
Yeah.
As you say, traffic.
That's why I say the venue should be serving the purpose.
Exactly. Because you will not have an event, because once you have no control of an area, really in fact you have no control of the people.
Yes.
And it's easy for people to come in and to crash your event, or people become inconsiderate to the other road users and people who need to get where they need to get to. And we have seen many times where persons who are passing by these road events and they're asking, can I pass these? And they're confronted with some aggression or even sometimes assaulted. So with that too, we guide persons that if you are traveling a way and don't put yourself in harm's way, contact law enforcement and let me respond to that venue. It should be police to begin with.
Yes.
And properly police, that is.
Yeah, I'm happy for that, because I certainly hope that the authorities look at it, but I'm seeing some of these instances already taking place already, and I think it's if permission was granted, I think it was wrongly given, in my opinion, because of where it's happening.
Yes.
If it was given permission, or if folks are doing it on their own accord, you understand? And I said, well, that should not be permitted, because it's on a road, main road, and you it's preventing the obstruction of traffic, and then you see the violence start.
The disorderliness and so forth.
It's not right. We drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get to, of course, continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks, to the Point Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch your dial.
Parents, do you go to bed with the knowledge that your children are comfortably asleep in the next room? Or are they allowed to attend every FET advertised? You are responsible for the safety and well-being of your children, and it is your responsibility to know their whereabouts. Children should not be at adult events. Please guide your children, engage them in age-appropriate activities. Let us be spicy parents for this carnival season and beyond. S. Speak to your children about positive behavior. P. Pay attention to them at all times. I. Inspire good behavior in your children by also displaying good behavior. C. Check with your children. Always know their whereabouts. Y. You are responsible for your children. Maintain control to keep them safe. This is a message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
What happens when you add groovy, power soca, and calypso all in one weekend? We get Sammy's Weekend, the most most amazing part of the Spice Mass build-up comes to Progress Park, St. Andrew. A trio of competitive shows. Thursday, July 23rd from 8 p.m. The Brian Griffin Groovy semifinals. Friday, July 24th, also at 8 p.m. Dr. Trevor Friday Power Soca semifinals. And on Sunday, July 26th, the Melody Poppytet Calypso semifinals. 5 p.m. sharp. Come out and support the artists as they each give 100% to secure a place in the finals. 3 crowns at stake, 3 nights facing the judges, and 3 nights of thrilling the audience. Semis weekend, July 23rd, 24th, and Sunday the 26th. Progress Park.
Come experience the spirit, strength, and beauty of Carriacou. Join us for the Carriacou Regatta Festival 2026, happening July 31st to August 2nd. Feel the excitement of thrilling boat races across our crystal clear water. Enjoy vibrant onshore activity, music, food, and pure vibe. This is more than a festival. It's resilience, culture, and unforgettable memories, all in one place. So, gather your crew, bring your energy, and come sail into the celebration. Carriacou Regatta Festival 2026, anchored in tradition, sailing to tomorrow.
August 1st is coming, and Grenville is about to transform with activities in observance of Emancipation Day 2026.
Under the theme, proudly claiming our land, our culture, our identity.
Start your day with flavor from 6 a.m. with breakfast at the Grenville Car Park. Then at 2 p.m., the energy moves to the bus terminal for a massive community exhibition.
Come see, come buy, come support. As the sun sets, the real magic begins.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. With us this morning, of course, we have Detective Coutin with us this morning here. And, of course, we have our conversation this morning. It's definitely one that should grab your interest a whole lot in terms of the whole discussion we'll be having this morning. Detective Coutin, welcome back once again.
Thanks, sir.
You know, crowd control and de-escalation is also very important, especially around this time of the year in terms of the event. Now, what specific, should I say, if I use the word non-verbal de-escalation technique an officer is trained to use, you know, when he wants to control in loud, densely packed, you know, crowds per se?
Well, one of the things we always encourage is risk assessment.
Yeah.
Right? There's certain situations you cannot go you alone. Obviously, persons who might consume, their judgment is impaired, and that's a fact. Their sense of reasoning is reduced significantly. You know, and then sometimes you must engage.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, to de-escalate whatever situation.
Yeah, you must. So, especially in regards to events and so forth, what we normally do is have a relation with the person in charge of the music, so they can stop the music. Once they see a situation, so it's something that's partnered really. Because if you have a venue happening and you have police on it, and there is a fight, a breakout, or a dispute, and you in view of that as the person in control of the music, you are required to stop the music and make an announcement. If you call the police in and let the police come in, stop the music. Because once you have music playing, there's like no real concern. People don't understand that. You know, and then let the police do this stuff, have the conversation, remove who they need to remove, search who need to be searched, and disarm who needs to be disarmed. And I would encourage the public, persons who are part of these activities, allow the police to do their job. Because it would be scary to have someone with a firearm, illegal firearm, and there's a dispute. A bullet has no respect of person. You know, and it travels distance, you know. So with that, we encourage persons to cooperate with the police. When those activities happen, allow the police, if they're not in view or they're not aware of it, let the police do their job. Because it's very important that we maintain a peaceful celebration throughout this season.
Respect for the authority is also very important.
Yes, and not only the police, but there are security personnel. Give them the same respect.
Yeah,
because we are working together for a particular purpose.
What message would you like to send out to individuals, who may sometimes try to defy that per se, not defend, but defy that per se? Feel, well, I'm having a good time. Why should I have respect for the police officer or whoever else is offering some sort of authority over me in terms of, as you mentioned, security officer, in terms of what I'm doing? Someone may say, well, there's a particular mass ban, and they may say no one else is supposed to be imposing on it, and so forth. Folks who wants to throw missiles and all of these things feel, well, I'm having a good time, I could throw water in the air and all of these things. What advice would you like to throw an individual to prevent them from doing that?
Let me say this way. It is an undisputed fact that a moment of indiscretion can lead to a lifetime of pain.
Yeah.
A moment of making a wrong choice, failing to respect someone else, can negatively impact you and your rest of your life. Especially in the case of weapons, throwing missiles, knives and cutlasses. I mean, as I would always say to people, if you're going out there, and you need to respect yourself to begin with, right? There's no need for you to travel with a cutlass because you're not going to the garden, You're not going, you shouldn't go with a knife or a firearm because you're going to enjoy oneself. And when you don't respect yourself, you do these things,
So true.
You make decisions that really is not rational and doesn't make sense, and it has criminal implications. And when these things happen, there's a zero tolerance, to be honest with you, with offensive weapons. So I'll say it again, there is a zero tolerance. We are not, as law enforcement, are not going to tolerate or to allow anyone to come in and give our country a bad name simply because you feel you can do what you want and be in possession or use any offensive weapon of any type, that matter of fact.
We talk in conflict resolution and individuals' behavior at time. How do officers manage heavily intoxicated, individuals without, escalating the situation, that may lead to a physical altercation?
Well, we try to exercise a little bit of tolerance, really. We understand that your judgment might not be best, but as I said, there are times we must act for the greater good, for the greater benefit of everyone else. But we do exercise some patience. If we can speak with you, most time we can't. If we can escort you out from where you are, or house you somewhere else until you recalibrate and you come back to your senses of good conduct, then we have to do that. But we do exercise restraint. We are not easily moved by trivial violation, to be honest. But there are instances where we must. And we encourage that everyone understand is for the greater good and outcome of this period.
My level of questioning this morning, I want to get a sense that individuals will understand in terms of their behavioral pattern, what is expected of them. We know it's carnival, you want to have a good time, but the level of your behavior is also important.
Very important.
For the safety of everyone and yourself. You understand? Tell me, how does the police or the various departments, as we're talking this morning, what we do you folks coordinate with local bars and bar owners, etc., and street vendors also?
But of course.
To prevent, the sale of stuff in glass bottles and all these things.
Well, this is one of our main concerns, right? Because we have seen over in previous weeks how serving drinks in bottles can negatively affect and injure people, and even you, the person who got caught up in the moment, how it can affect your freedom, your liberty, and being outside and continue in the festivity, right? What we do, in fact, we do collaborate. We speak with these people who have applied for permission, bars and so forth, but we recognize there are those who may just come by with a cooler, perhaps a fridge on a wheel, and they're selling the drinks. And I've said it before that you and I, as men, or people generally, we have a sense of pride. We feel that if we drink our drink in a cup, we look soft. And I'm recognizing too, it is a flex for many.
Yes. You want to show that you have that bottle.
Whether it be a root boy, because they're kind of trending right now, or your regular Guinness, a Carib and so forth, you want to have it in a bottle. And that's a no-no, to be honest with you. Because when you drink, you're not going to go back and bring it back, most people. And it's left on the side of the road and becomes objects, instruments of... But
will the police be putting a serious policy that I know in terms of, a no-no in terms of folks selling these alcoholic beverages within bottles? I mean, sometimes I know it's going to be difficult to control from time to time. You can't be everywhere at every location. But will there be something that would be mentioned that, hey, that's a no-no?
That's a yes. Because we have policy. We always had those policies. But I can guarantee the public that we are enforcing it more so.
Yeah.
You know, because we really, in fact, intend to maintain a peaceful, festivity.
All right. I want to talk a wee bit about safe zones. When I say safe zones, where there's an event happening, let's say, for instance, Juve, the Monday Night Mass, and so forth. Will we see this year that the police will be integrating these particular safe zones or physical areas where they will be that the individual could probably come and lodge complaints and so forth? Will we see that happening this year? Right?
Yes. I'm not sure if you have recognized in the past, you may see something what we refer to as command posts, areas where we have officers on reserve, even though they are distributed throughout, within and without the perimeter of the venues. But yes, there are areas where you can come in. We have officers that is manning those areas. If you have a concern, maybe someone got lost, maybe someone who went with you got lost, you can come and lodge a complaint and we can initiate investigation. Or there's certain concerns you may see too. Persons may prepare themselves for some form of aggression. And you may observe that you want to bring it across to law enforcement. So yes, there are certain safe zones or command posts where the police is on standby to disperse the person as needed.
The carnival season, we know it's a lot of work for the police.
Yes, it is.
In terms of the various shifts and so forth. I mean, getting time out is also important. I mean, I'm kind of giving you guys all the proper value, so I hope the High Commander listens.
Yes.
Tell me, fatigue management and so what is important for police officers? Are you expected, because you are an officer, so you're expected to go and be there all the time? Are we going to see that helping a whole lot in terms of officers being more restful and ready for the activities that are coming up?
Well, you see, though, it's a period where the organization understand if we give 100% through the year, at that period we give 110%.
Okay.
We give a little extra. And yes, the administration, the Prime Minister and Commissioner, and his executive recognize the welfare of his officers. As a result, there are mechanisms in place to show adequate rest, to afford you time to regenerate, and come back and perform your duties. Because a lot of long hours, and we doing this because of love of country. That's a fact, love of country, and we want to ensure that when we get our rest, we go there, we do our work with good frame of mind.
It helps you to adequately, resolve conflicts too.
Judgments are better, more composed. You're able to make proper decisions and calculate, in such a way that it's within the confines of the law, procedure-wise and so forth.
All right, we're due for a break again. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks, on The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back. Don't touch it.
August 1st is coming, and Grenville is about to transform with activities in observance of Emancipation Day 2026.
Under the theme, proudly claiming our land, our culture, our identity.
Start your day with flavor from 6 a.m. with breakfast at the Grenville Car Park. Then at 2 p.m., the energy moves to the bus terminal for a massive community exhibition.
Come see, come buy, come support. As the sun sets, the real magic begins at 5:30 p.m. with the Flambeau March from Subi Fisher Facility onward to the Grenville Bus Terminal.
Then at 8 p.m. is the formal ceremony with brief speeches, followed by cultural activities from 8:30 p.m. featuring drumming like you've never heard before.
Dance that moves the soul, a live band that keeps the vibe alive, and special performances by local artists and groups you won't forget.
From breakfast to midnight, it's all happening at the Grenville Bus Terminal. Saturday, August 1st. Don't be late. Emancipation Day 2026. Proudly claiming our land, our culture, our identity.
This event is hosted by the National Celebrations Committee in collaboration with SEDU.
You may not always have your ATM card on you, but that shouldn't stop you from accessing your money. With Republic Bank's cardless cash service, you can withdraw cash from any ATM without using your debit card. It's simple to use. Just log into your Republic Bank app, select cardless cash, enter the amount you need and generate the one-time code. At the ATM, enter your code, Confirm your details and you're done. No card needed. It's useful when you left your wallet behind and when you need to send cash to someone else securely. With cardless cash, you stay in control and in touch with your money wherever you are. Republic Bank, ready for life, every step.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong, one nation, one network.
What happens when you add groovy, power soca, and calypso all in one weekend? We get Sammy's Weekend. The most amazing part of the Spice Mass build-up comes to Progress Park, St. Andrew. A trio of competitive shows. Thursday, July 23rd from 8 p.m. The Brian Griffin Groovy semifinals. Friday, July 24th, also at 8 p.m. Dr. Trevor Friday Power Soca semifinals. And on Sunday, July 26th, the Melody Popitet Calypso semifinals. 5 p.m. sharp. Come out and support the artists as they each give 100% to secure a place in the finals. 3 crowns at stake, 3 nights facing the judges, and 3 nights of thrilling the audience. Sammy's Weekend, July 23rd, 24th, and Sunday the 26th. Progress Park.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. Of course, we have been joined by our Corporal Redder this morning. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to have you also, of course. So we've been talking a whole lot, this morning, conversation myself and of course the Detective Coutier in respect to violence prevention. We talk about conflict resolution in terms of, we're in the peak of the season, as I mentioned in the intro, Carnival 2026, and we certainly hope that your job will be much easier.
We truly hope so.
Going through the entire season, not having to deal with any conflicts. Not saying you ain't going to have any, but we hoping that it never is going to be show its face for any reason at all.
Definitely.
And programs like this will certainly help, regular citizens to understand, the nature of the behavior that is expected of them from the police as it stands right now. So that was our nature of our conversations going through this morning.
Good.
I want to switch to, there's always this option of those early warning signs that you will see. That we had as of course the Detective Coutier didn't tackle it a little earlier, but we didn't expand on it a lot. Folks may see in the instances where conversation are coming up, whether it's via social media threats and so forth. Folks are weapon branding and so forth. Even planning to clash between events and so forth. What kind of information would the police like to send out to individuals who are doing that in the first instance? There's always those early warning signs that you see. And not that if something may feel, as police or the various department, you're paying attention to these things, but you are. Talk to me about that.
Well, for me, I always, you would remember that I always mention in terms of being security conscious. So it's very important that persons look out for little telltale signs of criminality about to happen. And there are many different ways it can materialize. For example, areas where there are high volume intake of alcohol normally leads to violence, however small it may be, and sometimes we mistake small incidents and we say that it's a small incident, don't worry about that, but that's how it starts.
So true.
The man that chopped the man, or the man that shoot the man that end up harming or maiming the other person later, it started with just a small squabble. They started throwing, as we say locally, throwing talk for each other, making certain remarks. And it's very important when you recognize these things taking place, you either walk away, move away from the area, prevent yourself from being harmed, and to prevent others from being harmed, it's very important that you contact the police or responsible people in the first instance. Because the police, we normally they say sometimes we take a little bit while we're at the station. Yeah. When you call the police, obviously the police will show up immediately, and I think some people. It's
only obvious.
Yeah. Some people have a bit of unrealistic expectation when it comes to the police reaction time. But we do have, and my good detective friend here can attest the same. We do have different types of emergencies that we would respond to. So a man that's cussing a man down the road won't get the same response as a man that is wielding a firearm in a crowded area.
Or something in the road.
With good reason. Yeah, and then the magnitude of response would depend on the report made and the incident and what is taking place. So it's very important that persons pay attention to what's going on.
But people might feel it's not important, sometimes you say that people may get the inference, well, if Mr. J is over there and he's using obscenity to Mr. R, it's not that the police see it as not as being important.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. But sometimes for peace-sake individual, that regular citizens may just want to see the police come.
Exactly, and I'm glad you said that, because around the carnival time, we tend to have a higher tolerance for a little obscenities, and so we're not giving people a reason to use obscenities, because you can and may and probably will be arrested if you use it in a way to antagonize the police or cause serious public disruption. Yeah. But with good reason, we are a little tolerant around this time. If person maybe use a little obscenity, probably.
I think a big little difference in terms of you saying that, sometimes you have to be realistic with it, because folks may everybody hear things and have their own interpretation. And we understand we may say it in a jokeful manner, but sometimes a youngster who's listening to this program and say, well, maybe I could use some obscenities because the police say we are tolerant.
And I didn't say that you would escape. I just said that we are a little more tolerant, because we understand that with the presence of alcohol, loud music, which is characterized by carnival. These things do happen. The oil, people dancing, and then again the crowd. And according in psychology and criminology, there's something called the crowd effect. People, when they're around crowd, they become more anonymous in a sense. So they tend to believe that they can escape. But I'm sure Corporal Coutain here mentioned earlier that police will be out in their numbers, and you might just be committing an offense and you're thinking that the person next to you is a fellow civilian who is encouraging you in committing that offense, but it just might be a police officer, because I can guarantee that the police force, police officers, the commissioner, even the commissioner and the executive will be outside, so all police officers will be on board. I heard Corporal Coutain mention earlier about reserve.
Yes.
So it's not a case where officers will be out there and burned out and there'll be a gap. Even we're not even giving you a breather, because last year we had one of the safest carnival in so many years.
So true.
I can't remember any serious.
And I'm assuming that will be beefed up a whole lot this year once again.
So if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly. But I guess just improve on it, as they would say.
That's it.
So tell me, sometimes active bystanders intervention is something would you encourage or discourage? When I say active bystanders intervention, encourage citizens to to certainly separate friends and who may be getting themselves aggressive. And is that something that you will encourage or discourage?
Most definitely. As a matter of fact, I always see the civilian. Well, it reminds me of my favorite, the father of modern policing, Robert Peel, who says that we are all police officers. The only thing that separates us, Corporal Coutain and myself, from the civilian is that we get paid for it. So persons need to develop that mindset. Umpteen you hear people saying, I don't like the police or so, but you are police, because you won't stand and let someone chop your sister or curse your mother. Or the very thought of someone telling you about your mother or so gets you upset. That is policing, And people need to understand that policing is a psychology, and that psychology needs to be implemented by our normal citizens during the carnival season. When you do that, it makes our job easier. It not only makes our job easier, it makes your life easier. It's safer for you, your family, and even the visitors. Because they say tourism is everybody's business, and we have to protect our product here as Grenadians. So it's in your best interest to be a police officer out of uniform. You see a situation taking place And I must applaud a lot of Grenadian citizens, because you see it happening in many communities. I'm sure Kapakutin have seen it a lot, where something will happen. Just the other day we went up to Boca, I think in Sanko, and we did a community visit up there. And it was such a beautiful experience, because we were there and the guys were on the block. We were sitting speaking to them, and they were talking, and they were telling us, officers, nothing doesn't happen up here, because anybody come and they make noise, we putting them out.
Yeah.
And if they're really giving trouble, we have the number, we know who to call.
Okay.
And we felt such a gratitude, such a we felt such gratefulness, because we see community policing being implemented, and we see the effectiveness of it when it's being run on the ground. So we want to applaud citizens like that, and we want to encourage communities where you have a lot, especially the young men. And I'm sure Kapakutin mentioned that a lot of the young men know that's where the majority of the crime are happening.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. That's
so
a good thing.
If we get them to have that security mindset and believe that, well, I have the knowledge that you guys can control what happens in your community, and it benefits you, it benefits your family, it benefits the country. You have that power. You don't have to be a politician.
It takes a load off the police also.
Exactly.
It takes a load off the police a whole lot.
Exactly.
Let me also ask you this. The idea of collective policing.
Yeah.
Talk to me in relation to that.
Right.
Because, it kind of frames that safety to shared duty.
Yeah.
Talk to me in relation to that.
Well, in terms of collective policing, how I interpret the question is that in terms of all the different departments working together?
Yes.
Well, that is one of the things that the commissioner and the executive, for sure, I know, they implement. For example, when they have the executive meetings with all the officers and so, everyone has their role to play. Of course, Coast Guard is C,
yes.
And so we have the tactical units, RRU, we have SSU, and that's the beauty, I think, with what was so effective last year in terms of policing and having that maybe almost 100% success rate.
All right.
In terms of all the different departments. It's not only the departments, though, it's the intelligence between the departments. Mm-hmm. So we would have officers in CID. They would be on the ground, they would see things happening, they would call regular. If we have situations where families are affected, we have the special victims unit, we would contact them. And more so, we have other players in the outer perimeter of direct policing in terms of the security units, the persons in the ministry.
Yes.
So it's a collective effort, as you rightfully said, and I love how you said collective policing. I think that's a new term coined that we have to use.
I just thought about it, because everyone playing their part can help in terms of the overall security of everything.
Yeah. And a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So if we have a department who's not pulling their weight, it can affect the whole chain.
Exactly.
So we have to work together, and we are. And I think this carnival will be even safer than last year. I'm prophesying.
Well, we certainly will all hope that it will be a safe carnival, and we're rooting for that a whole lot. It takes a whole lot load off the island and the police, and even just regular citizens. Once we know that we can go out, have a good time, if we just go in as spectators or whatever, that we feel safe when we're going out there.
For sure, and as you said, collectivity and collective policing. You play your part also in terms of putting all that information there, having us here. So it's a beautiful, amalgamation of different institutions and so we appreciate it greatly.
All right, we due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. We also encourage our listeners, if you want to chime in on the conversation, of course, anything you want to ask your officers and do in terms of your concern, feel free to do so in the next segment. Stay with us, 445-2041. We'll come back after the break. Don't touch it out.
Are you ready? The countdown is on for the biggest family event of the summer, our Kids Fest. Saturday, July the 25th, starting time 1 p.m. Monrouge Playing Field. It's an action-packed day of family fun. Free bouncy castles, horseback riding, face painting, exciting games, music, and so much more. And don't forget, you could be one of 2 lucky winners to take home a Samsung 55-inch smart TV. There is something for everyone. fun. And the best part, admission is absolutely free. So bring the kids, invite your family, and make memories that will last a lifetime. POW Kids Fest, Saturday, July the 25th, 1 p.m. on Rouge Plainfield. Sponsored by Modern Photo Studio, Blue Horizon, Country Call, Cariconics, and Terry's Yacht Services. POW Kids Fest, where kids shine, families connect, and fun comes alive.
Proudly claiming our land, our culture, and our identity. We invite you to Watch Night, July 31st. Enslaved Africans gathered in secret in 1838, waiting for midnight to bring emancipation. Join us as we honor this legacy, bridging past, present, and promise. Watch Night 2026 celebrates the anticipation of freedom at the Grenville Bus Terminus, July 31st, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by the National Celebrations Committee, we ask you to come out in your numbers and be part of a night of praise and worship and cultural presentation. Come witness the dynamic dancers from Agape Ministry, live music from Tivoli Catholic Choir, Rema Worship Team, drumming from Lion Pride, Tivoli drummers, Rastafarian groups, and from Jabali, performers from Tobago. It's a family event. Come, let's celebrate the freedom fought for by our ancestors.
Come experience the spirit, strength, and beauty of Carriacou. Join us for the Carriacou Regatta Festival 2026, happening July 31st to August 2nd. Feel the excitement of thrilling boat races across our crystal clear water. Enjoy vibrant onshore activity, music, food, and pure vibe. This is more than a festival. It's resilience, culture, and unforgettable memories, all in one place. So, gather your crew, bring your energy, and come sail into the celebration. Carriacou Regatta Festival 2026, anchored in tradition, sailing to tomorrow. To tomorrow. To tomorrow. To tomorrow.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, officers, welcome back to today's edition. Once again, as I mentioned to our listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two you want to chime in our conversation this morning, feel free to do so. 435-2041. I want to talk in relation to you all in relation to this. You know, there's always that long-term consequences that could derive from your behavior. You know, and you may see it as simple as having a little bit of issue with someone, maybe Juve morning, whatever. But it has that long-term consequences on you, including getting yourself a criminal record. Yeah. Talk to individuals in relation to that. How important is that the nature of your behavior and the consequences that could derive to you for you in relation to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's extremely important in terms of your livelihood, your integrity going forward. Normally, when people play job or they play carnival, you don't see jobs, you don't see status.
No.
So I am joking that, you know, he get a little jam on a lawyer at time, and that make you feel so happy.
Yeah.
The point is that when you're playing job and you're having a good time, you have to bear in mind that there's a life after the job.
Yes.
You understand? It's a fairly lengthy season, but it finishes quickly, and then you have to go back to your normal life, get back to work.
Yeah.
And persons ought to be mindful. And since we have the majority of persons of being young persons, we know that they'll be seeking jobs. They already have their jobs. You also have to be mindful that a lot of things are being recorded on the road. So you have to be careful in terms of your behavior. Of course, if it crosses the threshold of criminality, then the police would have to intervene. People need to understand also that you don't have to be charged with an offense to tarnish your reputation.
Yeah.
Just the very idea of you being around the police station, somebody could pass and see you by the station of importance on your job and so on. That can affect you.
Yep.
Because it's the image. You have to be mindful that there's an image that you have to carry yourself in a way that your employability will be secured. and that you can represent your organization. So it's very important that you maintain yourself in a manner befitting a good citizen. Of course, if you get yourself deeper into the criminal justice system, then it wouldn't be a good look for you in terms of securing jobs. As you mentioned earlier, rightfully, the criminal record, it can be tarnished.
Yes.
Your name can be tarnished, and going forward, you don't want to. It goes as far as reaching up to the big house, the prison, and we want to advise against that because we have a budding young population, and we want to maintain a society that is characterized by law-abiding citizens. So bear in mind as you play your mass.
Great.
Yeah.
We do our first caller. Let's get this caller and see what he has to contribute. Caller via WhatsApp. You're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, sir. How are you going?
Doing great. Let's hear from you.
Okay, then, officers, I want to inquire about this thing concerning morality. Because a few years ago, police officers made a comment, and I remember someone from GBN was condemning the comment. I was in support of what the police was actually saying, and this is what it's all about. Is it illegal? Is it against the law that at carnival time we abandon the tradition of mass or sailor mass and thing, and all this unnecessary, I put in the word unnecessary nakedness, brutal bending below for a camera to be done, and you have little children in effect watching that. A mother might be there with her 10-year-old daughter and how they dress down and all these skimpy things. That is that legal for that to happen, whether it is carnival, yes or no? Is it, even though we have a culture, is it so that we have to dress? I know that you cannot dress that way when there is no carnival, but especially carnival time, is it legal for them to do that? And my second question is this. I definitely know that we had some strict anti-gambling laws. It's my information, since the past administration passed the law to accommodate blasts, maybe they have made a mistake and they didn't fit the law to suit people on the street every night in some communities. In my community too, you have gamblers cussing obscene language, young fellas gambling. Is it? How could the police help to curb that cussing and everything in the community? And it appears that they misunderstand the laws on marijuana. So there is an increase by young people in smoking marijuana now and cussing in the night. How could we get rid of some of the things? There are more that I have to say, but I cannot say more now. I will leave that for another time.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In response to the caller,
you struck some very important points. In terms of the first point, in terms of the nudity, when nudity on a normal day is against the law, being nude in public also, you have to bear in mind that of course, morality, the laws, from time immemorial, laws have been made from a moral standpoint. You have to also understand the nature of carnival. We do understand the nature of carnival in terms of persons being a bit skimpy in their dress. So it's an intricate balance. When it comes to children, of course, that balance, it has to strike on one side more than the other. And there are laws in place in terms of dealing with children, and I'm sure Detective Coutain can speak more to that as an officer attached to SVU. You have to be very careful in terms of how you paint children, especially, and not the most important thing is putting them in a situation, dangerous situations, a situation that can be harmful to them. Once you cross that threshold, then of course law enforcement comes into play. But I'm sure Coutain wants to say something on that.
Right, so the first part of the caller's question speaks to morality and legality of a person, the way that they may dress or conduct themselves in public. The law speaks to, as you say, nudity or indecent behavior, but not in regards to the festivity. Right? It's safe to say that there is nothing that prohibits a person from being in the costumes and so forth. Right? But outside of that, the law speaks to that.
Okay.
Right? And there's a second part of the question that speaks of gambling and so forth. Right? there is laws that speaks to it as we
gambling.
To the
but of course, there's the Gambling Commission also, and it speaks to having a license to gamble. So if you don't have a license to gamble, then the police can approach you. If you have a sort of kangaroo institution made up, the police can come and shut you down and apply that act. Also, in terms, I heard he mentioned persons gambling. What you can do if you're a bit skeptical about the gambling, but of course, obscene language is an offense. If you see disorderly conduct is an offense. If you see persons around the neighborhood behaving disorderly, using obscene language, it's very important that you call the police, inform them, and the police would respond appropriately. I think there was a third part to the question, and I can't remember.
But just to add with Corporal and with him, what we refer to as in law enforcement is illegal gambling. You know, and it is a crime to permit gambling on a compound. You know, so for those persons who feel that they have the shops and they have those kind of gambling, it is illegal. And trust me, it is becoming an issue. And it's something that we will address, right? A person needs to understand they have a responsibility to conduct themselves properly, and they just can't do what they want. And I love the issue that was raised, and I trust that the general listening public understand that it's an issue that will be addressed, and we will continue to serve our people in those regards.
I think I remember the last one in terms of the use of marijuana, and of course with the new inactions, you would see certain trends being observed. But what I can say is that we are on an educational campaign in the Community Relations Department. I'm sure SVU is on it also in terms of going to the schools. Of course, there are the laws in terms of smoking within proximity of the school, and so the amount you can carry on you, and then the requisite procedures to follow, because all that has changed with the new enactment. So you know, it's a work in progress, and I think that we are in the right direction in terms of dealing.
And just to add a little piece there, smoking in the public is not legal. It is not legal. You understand?
Very good point.
So don't misunderstand that, certain laws has passed and I can smoke where I want. That's a no-no. You know, so it's
supposed to misinterpreting the decriminalization of legalization. It's supposed to still have an misinterpretation.
The privacy of your home is okay.
But not by the side of the road at the shop.
Or
and
driving
you drive your vehicle and you in public
folks may feel their vehicle is a private thing too. You're still in a public setting for that. We do have another caller. Caller, your life. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Carnival, jab. Now, could we have carnival without playing jab Juve morning? Have a carnival without Juve morning? And the next Sunday or the next week, give every parish a day to jump up. No Juve morning. We have no Juve morning anyway. We cancel Juve morning completely. Then we have the mass on Monday and Tuesday, clean, the street clean, all about the world put away for carnival. And the next week, what time you give every parish a day for jump up? You say this parish, St. George, you get that jump up to this Sunday. You give Victoria, you give St. Patrick, you give Glen, you give St. David that Sunday jump up to burn the energy. Because you want to see that burn the energy of everybody, you know, for a few hours. But you cannot manage everything on for a few hours. That is shameful. It's shameful to see for Juve morning. Man, drunk for 2 hours, drunk, we have to carry you know, we're going back home, you know, in front of the drain for 2 hours, advertising yourself and then pulling up a chain, dirty the whole street, all this sea coast, dirty up with the whole thing.
Caller, thank you so much. We are a bit strapped for time, so we may have to wrap. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. You made some valuable points.
There's a time and place for everything, and I think if you're a Grenadian, you would know that Grenadians don't play with a jab. You know, we give them the time to do that, and then we back to serious business. Time and place, and we have to.
He may have to talk to the
Baby Spice Bars Corporation
and so forth in reference to changing that. You know, but I don't think it will be so. Gentlemen, of course, we just have about a minute left on the program this morning. Anything in closing we want to share to our audience before we take a wrap this morning?
I just want to thank you for having us again. We can't take it for granted that we're here every Thursday.
Yes.
And it just shows the importance of working together in terms of curbing crime. I'm getting information out there. I want to encourage the population. Let's make this carnival safer than last year. It's your responsibility as citizen police, to ensure that your community is safe, to ensure that you speak to young persons, speak to any person you see that might be trying to engage in any kind of illegal activity. It's your responsibility also to develop that relationship with your local police in your environment, in your area, and just develop a sense of responsibility. Of course, I want to appeal to the men. Let's be men and protect our families, protect the nation's children. this carnival season. And just remember what GT said earlier in terms of collective. That's the word of the day for me. Collective policing. It's all of us together as shareholders, as stakeholders, as we have a safer carnival than last year.
All right. Yeah. Anything from you, Detective Gutian?
Oh, yes, of course, the topic today was prevention of crime, violence, Carnival edition, you know?
Yes.
And please, people, remember that Carnival is a celebration of culture, unity and love. Let's keep that in mind and let's do our best, play our part to contribute to a safe 2026 Carnival. Yes.
All right. Gentlemen, once again, thank you so much. As always a pleasure. It's always constructive conversation. Lovely. And of course, we do this again. I may not see you before Carnival, I'm not sure. All the best. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thanks once again. That's where we say goodbye.